That little white girl said that we're gonna win.
Today, we need to talk because this time, the internet is not upset for no reason. Cardi B is facing serious backlash after comments that involved a young child, followed by an apology that many people feel did not come from a genuine place. The issue goes beyond what was said and focuses more on how it was handled. A lot of people believe the apology only happened because she was live and saw the backlash building in real time. Some feel it came across as a quick move to calm the situation rather than real accountability, while others say this fits a pattern they have noticed over the years. That is why we are breaking down what actually upset people, why the apology did not land, and why many believe Cardi B's online behavior has been crossing lines for a long time.
That little white girl said that we're gonna win. Fuck that bitch! I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that.
The backlash mainly stems from the language Cardi B used, which many felt was inappropriate when a young child was mentioned. The child involved was only 4 years old, and regardless of intent, frustration, or context, the moment went viral almost immediately. Once the clip started circulating, the response was fast and widespread. Children are generally considered off-limits when it comes to public conflicts. This is not selective outrage or people picking sides. The moment a child becomes part of adult drama, the conversation shifts completely. What starts as celebrity mess turns into a discussion about boundaries and accountability. Some fans attempted to deflect by bringing up past situations involving other artists, but many people rejected that argument. Pointing to previous incidents does not justify repeating the behavior. In this case, people also pointed out that the child involved had done nothing to provoke the situation, which made the reaction even stronger. Another issue people keep highlighting is the timing of the apology. Many believe it only happened because she was live and watching the criticism pour in. The question being asked across social media is whether the apology would have happened at all if there was no immediate backlash. What often gets ignored in these defenses is that Cardi B is not just a regular person online. She is a celebrity with a massive platform and influence over public discourse. With that level of visibility comes responsibility, whether people agree with it or not. Cardi B is not just a rapper. She is a major social media figure with a huge presence online. Anything she says carries weight, whether she intends it or not. That is why people are especially concerned now, because after those comments went viral, many are saying the little girl involved started receiving negative messages and attention online. That part of the situation is being brushed past way too easily. What keeps getting ignored is the most important detail of all. This is a child. A child cannot consent to being discussed publicly, cannot defend herself, and did not sign up to be dragged into internet chaos. She was not arguing, clapping back, or chasing attention. She was simply being a kid and enjoying her time. From what people saw, the child was outside playing, moving rocks around, and minding her own business. There was no hidden meaning and no disrespect. That is why the reaction from the public was not rooted in hate. It came from concern. People were confused about why a child who did nothing wrong was even being mentioned in the first place. This is where the conversation starts going deeper.
Feel a certain type of way, and I'ma come for you. Like, if I gotta talk about your kids, I will. If you got rest in peace, this and that, I'ma talk about that person that you're talking about. I'ma really hurt your feelings, like, because I'm very sensitive.
Over the years, Cardi B has built a reputation for reacting emotionally online. She has openly searched her name, jumped into comment sections, and responded directly to critics instead of letting situations cool down. Time after time, small issues turn into public blow-ups because everything plays out in front of millions. That pattern has followed her for years. Public arguments, heated exchanges, and messy moments have become part of the storyline people associate with her. Some people feel that this constant chaos spills over into her personal life as well, especially when it comes to her relationships. Fair or not, that perception keeps coming back up every time a new controversy hits. What frustrates many viewers is the predictability of it all. Whenever backlash starts building, there is often an attempt to redirect the narrative instead of fully owning the situation. Damage control replaces accountability, and the focus shifts away from the real issue. This is why people are saying this is not about one comment or one moment, it is about a repeated pattern of behavior. And to a lot of observers, Cardi B rarely gets held to the same standards she applies to others. That inconsistency is what keeps the criticism alive. If this situation involved almost anyone else, the reaction would look very different. Early in her career, the way Cardi B moved online worked for her. People saw it as raw, relatable, and authentic. It felt like she was speaking from where she came from, and a lot of fans connected with that energy. Back then, it made sense. But as your platform grows, that same approach does not always translate the same way. By 2026, the expectations are different. Bigger visibility comes with bigger responsibility, and sometimes that means knowing when to speak and when to fall back. Growth requires adjustment, not just louder reactions. Now let's address the part nobody wants to say out loud. If Nicki Minaj had been accused of directing inappropriate language toward a child, the internet would be on fire. Headlines would be everywhere. Think pieces would flood social media questioning her character. People would be calling for cancellations, boycotts, and consequences across the board. There would be no grace period, no soft explanations, no rush to move on. The pressure would be intense, and the criticism would be non-stop. That contrast is exactly what people are pointing out now. When it comes to Cardi B, the response feels different. The narrative quickly shifts to excuses. People say she apologized, so it should be over. They say it was emotional, so it should be understood. But that same energy is rarely extended to others.
I'm sorry, Cardi B, what was that?
That little white girl said that we're gonna win. Fuck that bitch! I told ya! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say.
Yeah, that was the classless Cardi B on her Instagram Live in front of her millions of followers screaming, "That little white girl, F that little B." So what did that little white girl say that was so awful? What did she do? Well, she made this video.
No. Buffalo! 49ers!
That's it. That's what she did. Her and her dad make cute little videos where every single game she picks which team she thinks is going to win by picking the football helmet. And apparently when Cardi B's team won, she decided to hop on her Instagram Live, and to a child she doesn't know, to a 4-year-old little innocent girl, she decided to scream to her followers, "F that little B." But then all of a sudden, Cardi, you had a realization real quick, and I could see it in your eyes. You forgot you were on Instagram Live and you couldn't cover it up. You couldn't edit that out. So you decided to immediately go, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. No, you did mean it. You knew exactly what you were saying when you said it. You just instantly realized you couldn't cover it up. You couldn't cover up the terrible things you said to an innocent little girl, and you tried to backtrack it. That's pathetic. And you know what's equally as pathetic? In the comments sections, you have grown-ass people saying things like this. You put your child on the internet. You should know what comes with it. You use your daughter for money. You commercialize your daughter and expect it to go well? Are you fucking serious with these comments, people? So let me get this straight. Instead of siding with the dad and the daughter, be like, "Damn, that's really wrong to scream F that little B from a celebrity to an innocent little 4-year-old," some of you were siding with Cardi B and saying that's what you get for posting your kid on the internet. No. No parent and child deserves outright hatred thrown at them on social media over simple, cute little videos. You know what's really sad is the dad sent me that video, and he was telling me about how hard it is to see all the hate they're receiving online over a simple little football video that they made, and how him and his daughter use the NFL to bond, and he teaches her things like her colors, geography, and math when they watch the games and when they learn about the NFL together. The dad and his little girl over an innocent little video ended up on the dark side of the internet and have celebrities now saying F that little B to a 4-year-old girl off of a video they made. Cardi B wants to say F that little B to that innocent little girl? No. Fuck you, Cardi. You are a classless piece of trash, and so are all of your followers who stand behind you saying that that little girl and her dad got what they deserved. You are all garbage.
Another layer to this conversation is how often her image gets tied to the men she is involved with. Since being linked to Offset, critics argue that her confidence and public tone shifted, especially when it comes to industry status and competition. Whether that view is fair or not, it keeps coming up in discussions about her behavior. At the end of the day, people are not just reacting to one moment, they are reacting to double standards and a pattern that keeps repeating without real accountability. Now that she's publicly linked to Stefon Diggs, a lot of people feel like Cardi B has taken on a whole new attitude. Critics are saying she's moving like she's untouchable, like she's stepped into some elite role overnight. But many are pushing back on that image and saying the confidence feels forced rather than earned. People online are pointing out that being associated with a football star does not automatically place someone in a different category. Status does not come from proximity, and titles are not real until they are actually defined. That is where a lot of the commentary is coming from, not hate, not jealousy, just realism. And let's be clear, this conversation is not about stan wars or picking sides. It is not about dragging Cardi B just to drag her. The core issue stays the same. A child should never be pulled into adult situations, especially when the situation itself is not even serious enough to justify attention. That is the rule people are standing on. Children do not ask to be part of internet drama. They do not benefit from it, and they should never be used as a talking point, directly or indirectly. Once that boundary is crossed, the focus shifts away from celebrity behavior and straight into accountability. Accountability does not mean canceling someone. It does not mean erasing a career or pretending accomplishments do not exist. It means recognizing when a line was crossed, learning from it, adjusting behavior, and doing better moving forward. That expectation becomes even stronger when someone has influence and visibility. Whether people want to admit it or not, words from public figures travel far. And when those words land wrong, brushing it off instead of reflecting only keeps the cycle going. This situation keeps circling back to one central issue that many people feel is being deliberately ignored. Influence changes responsibility. When someone reaches the level of visibility that Cardi B has, every public action carries weight, whether intended or not. The internet is no longer just a place to vent or clap back. It becomes a space where words ripple outward and land on people who never asked to be involved. That is why so many viewers are saying this moment deserved more reflection instead of a quick apology and a push to move on. A major reason the criticism has stuck is because it does not exist in isolation. People are reacting to a long history of similar moments where emotions run high and the response feels impulsive. Over time, repeated behavior builds expectations. When audiences see the same pattern play out again, trust erodes. It becomes harder for apologies to feel sincere because they sound familiar. Growth is not just about saying sorry. It is about showing visible change in how situations are handled moving forward. Another layer that keeps coming up is how celebrity culture often bends rules depending on who is involved. Fans are pointing out that some artists are given grace while others are immediately dragged for similar or even smaller offenses. That inconsistency fuels frustration. Accountability should not depend on popularity, alliances, or who people personally like. When the rules feel flexible, it sends the message that influence protects behavior rather than correcting it. What many people are actually asking for is not punishment but maturity. There is a difference between explaining yourself and escalating a situation further. Stepping back, setting boundaries, and protecting people who have no voice in the conversation should always be the priority. Especially when children are involved, silence can sometimes be more powerful than any response. Not every moment needs commentary, and not every criticism requires a reaction. At the end of the day, this moment has become bigger than one clip or one apology. It represents a broader conversation about how public figures evolve with their platforms. Fame may amplify voices, but it also amplifies consequences. Learning when to disengage, when to reflect, and when to simply do better is part of that evolution. Until those changes are visible, situations like this will continue to resurface, and the same questions about accountability will keep being asked again and again. At this point, the conversation really comes down to growth and responsibility. Fame changes the rules whether people like it or not. When someone reaches the level of visibility that Cardi B has, the margin for error gets smaller, not bigger. Every comment, every reaction, and every emotional response becomes amplified. That is not hate, that is reality. And pretending otherwise only keeps the same situations repeating over and over. What many people are reacting to is not just one moment, but the lack of pause that seems to come before these moments happen. There is a difference between being authentic and being reckless. There is also a difference between standing up for yourself and pulling in people who never asked to be part of the spotlight. The public is not demanding perfection. They are asking for discernment, especially when the stakes involve someone who cannot speak for themselves. This situation also exposes how uneven accountability looks in celebrity culture. Some artists are expected to explain themselves endlessly, while others are allowed to apologize once and move on without deeper reflection. That double standard is why people are still talking. It is not about picking sides. It is about fairness. When rules only apply sometimes, trust in public figures starts to break down. There's also an important lesson here about silence. Not every situation needs to be addressed immediately. Not every criticism needs a response. Sometimes the most responsible move is to disengage, reflect privately, and let emotions cool before speaking again. That kind of restraint shows maturity more than any explanation ever could. At the end of the day, accountability is not about canceling careers or erasing accomplishments. It is about recognizing impact, not just intent. It is about understanding that influence reaches farther than expected and can land in places never intended. When people with power acknowledge that fully and adjust their behavior, it builds credibility instead of weakening it. Whether this moment leads to real change remains to be seen. What is clear is that the public conversation is shifting. Audiences are paying closer attention to how situations are handled, not just how fast apologies are delivered. And as long as those expectations keep rising, public figures will continue to be challenged to meet them. So before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you are riding with us, tap subscribe if you are a real one, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a single messy update. Trust me, you are going to want to be here for the next video.